Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today with Generations Magazine Brown Bag Lunch Webinars. I'm Cynthia Arnold with Senior Move Managers and Declutter Hawaii hosting today's event. And I want to thank our sponsor, who is FBI, which is Financial Benefits Insurance, as well as Declutter Hawaii for hosting these Brown Bag Lunch Webinars. Today, we have Michelle from Hawaii Meals on Wheels, who's going to be doing her webinar presentation. But before that, I just wanted to do a little housekeeping. If you notice, you can only see Michelle and I. We're on a Zoom platform for webinars. And with that, we cannot see you and we cannot hear you. So the only way to communicate with us would be through our chat feature. So if you notice on the bottom of the Zoom, you'll see a chat feature as well as a Q&A. I will be monitoring both chat and Q&A, and Michelle is gracious enough to answer questions while she's doing her presentation. So you don't have to wait till the end. What we are doing is, if she's talking about something and you have a question about that, please put that in the chat and I will get that question answered for you. So please don't be shy. Any questions, I always tell people, any questions are good questions. There's no dumb questions. So please feel free to use the chat feature or the question and answer feature for any correspondence with us. Again, I want to thank Financial Benefits Insurance and Declutter Hawaii for sponsoring the Generation Magazine on Zoom Brown Bag Lunch webinars that we hold every third Wednesday of the month. Today we have Michelle with Hawaii Meals on Wheels. Addition to our Brown Bag Lunch webinars, we also have a radio podcast. It is on Sundays from 8 to 9 on 101.1 Coral, Hawaii's Classic Rock FM. They stream every Sunday mornings from 8 to 9 a.m. Outside of the radio and webinars, you can also go to www.generations808.com. And on that webpage, there's a list of a calendar of events. You can watch all the past webinars, listen to all the past radio podcasts online as well. The next Brown Bag webinar will be on December 15th with Debbie Kim Morikawa, and she'll be doing some functional fitness. But today, I'm so proud to have Hawaii Meals on Wheels and Michelle with us. So Michelle, I'll have you introduce yourself and we'll get going.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining us at 11:30, and this is kind of fitting because we are Hawaii Meals on Wheels, and we're talking about meals right before lunch, so I apologize if people are already hungry. But yes, thank you for joining us today and hearing about all the work that Hawaii Meals on Wheels does throughout the island. And I know some of you may already know, but just taking the time to learn a little bit more about us, we're truly really appreciative. I'm the CEO of Hawaii Meals on Wheels. I've been with the organization for the past 5 years now, and it has been a complete joy, with the staff in working with all of our kupuna on the island. And our staff is extremely dedicated to the work that we do throughout all of Oahu. Okay, So Hawaii Meals on Wheels, we are meals from the heart, food for the soul is our tagline. It's always been extremely important for us to tell people that the meal is just an entree of services, and really having a nutritious meal is really just one step in being able to connect with our kupuna. So what is it that we provide? We provide a friendly visit, as well as a nutritious meal. And many of our meals, about 60% of our meals are what we call medically therapeutic, meaning that they are either renal, chopped, pureed, heart healthy. We are the only organization, because there is more than one meal program on the island. We are the only meal program that can offer the variety of types of medical meals out there. And some of our clients will have meals that have 6 or 7 different types of needs, meaning that it could be renal, chopped, heart healthy, low sodium. And we're so grateful to our volunteers and our staff. We're so on top of that. They can go to one of our kitchens, and we work with 12 partnering kitchens throughout the year, and many of them will pick up a route and see that there could be 5 to 6 different diets when they pick up a route. So we have over 300 active volunteers. Many of them drive, deliver, or pack meals, and as well as assist us in other ways. We are flexible in terms of volunteering. You can volunteer as many as once a week or as many as 2 times a year, depending on your availability. We want to make sure that the venture and the giving back to our community fits within your schedule, and that it doesn't become too cumbersome, because we understand that many of our volunteers are limited in time, that they're doing many other charitable work, or that they're working as well. And we just appreciate any time that you can give back to us. Mahalo. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about what we've called the silver tsunami. And many of you may have heard this term in the past, that the silver tsunami is going on right here, right now. And it's really the tsunami of aging individuals throughout all of the United States. And Hawaii's population, 60 plus population, increased from 115,000 in 1980 to 227,000 in 2010. And currently today, this population has increased to 334,000 of the overall state population. So really, the number of kapuna that are 60 plus are really, there's a large segment of that aging population due to the baby boomers. And so part of what we do at Hawaii Meals on Wheels is to talk about this increase in aging at every level we can, with schools, with agencies, with other nonprofits, with governments, with individual corporations. And what's interesting about Hawaii is that we are top 5 in the number of people who are 60 plus, but on top of that, our kapuna tend to live longer than most other states. And that's because many of our kapuna are here with warm weather. They eat a diet of pretty nutritious food with fish and so forth. And then many of them too live closely connected to families. So all of that put together allows for our aging population here to live longer than other states in general. Okay. And so, and just to give you a heads up on what this means, nationally, over 10,000 baby boomers reach the age of 65 daily. But for us in 2020, and thank you to my staff who pulled this, is that our average age of our clients are 79, and our median age is 79 as well. Our oldest being 104, our youngest being 24, and that's because we do serve clients who are disabled. And then, of course, one of our big statistics is that we actually serve over 20 clients over the age of 100 or older. So, and that the number of females that we serve compared to males is always significantly higher every year. In this case, it's 62%. In years past, it's been close to 70. And then our male counterpart is 38%. So that's the age and gender statistics of Hawaii Meals on Wheels. So this is very telling of the clients that our agency specifically serves, and also very telling of, as a state, where we are with our aging population. Okay. And last year, we served a total of 1,283 clients. And that's quite up from where we've served number of clients in the past, where we were at the 750 mark. Okay. So many of what we see with that we see with our aging kupuna are battling chronic health disease. More importantly, too, at this point, battling depression and isolation. Many are concerned about safety issues, especially if they have to transfer to a different place. Many have lack of nutrition, and so many have to prematurely trade in their homes for care homes. So as part of our endeavor is one of the things that we like to talk about at Hawaii Meals on Wheels is how can we allow for our kupuna to age in their home where they're familiar with every sidewalk and nook and cranny in their household as long as possible. Okay. The pandemic, how has it affected us? Well, this is quite a big jump from where we were into, and here are the statistics from 2019 to 2021. In 2019, pre-pandemic, we were at 98,000 meals. 2020, we were at 158,000. And 2021, we are gearing for up to 175,000 meals. 2019, our clients were at 758. 2020, our clients at 1283. And then 2021, our clients coming close to 1,300. At the onset of the global health crisis in March of 2020, Hawaii Meals on Wheels, we were inundated with phone calls from kupuna asking for meal service. Many of these kupuna were mobile, but sheltering in because of the stay-at-home order. But what was interesting for us in our service provision is that to qualify under our traditional means is you had to demonstrate that you were homebound, especially if your meals were being funded by the government. And the homebound guidelines were pretty strict in a sense. You had to not be as mobile. You had to demonstrate you didn't have so many ADLs. Things like if you had to use a shower chair, in order to qualify for government subsidy, you had to demonstrate the homebound definition that you fit within that qualifying segment. But during the pandemic, of course, so many kupuna were homebound, not based on their own physicality, but based on the fact that they couldn't go out. So it was very difficult for the government to shift quickly because of the fact that there's just a lot of mobilization that needed to take place and many I's dotted and T's crossed. So a lot of nonprofits had to step in to create small programs where they were allowing for service to get access at a very quick and express basis. So the timeliness of these programs being implemented was very tricky with the government. And we are so grateful to other nonprofits as well who assisted us in bringing on clients, getting the word out and so forth, and being able to assist us with intakes and so forth when it was really at a point in time where the government couldn't quite mobilize as quickly as the smaller organizations. And so there was just an outpouring of support, and many coalitions, things like the Kupuna Food Security Coalition, came out of the pandemic, and how we all sort of, as nonprofits, come together to work together now when we see a need of food insecurity. So, I know these numbers are daunting, and we're actually not the biggest meal service provider on the island. That would be Lanakila Pacific, who also has a meal service as well. But we are smaller in that respect. We have about 24 staff, but a number of volunteers who still continue to volunteer for us during this time. So just wanted to share that even though that the numbers seem daunting, there were so many positives that came out of the pandemic in terms of coming together with other agencies and the government as well. Once the government realized what they needed and how they could get funding approved, they stepped in to support all of us nonprofits as well. So truly a coalition throughout last year and this year for sure. Aging in place, what does that mean? Kupuna, we're finding that many of our kupuna, even the ones who are homebound, even the ones who are at the early onset of dementia, that they really just want to age in their homes for as long as possible, because they're most familiar there, they're comfortable, they believe in the community and the surroundings around them. And what we're seeing is that our meal service, what it provides is that if they have this type of support, they really do gain a greater quality of life. There's fewer hospital stays, they're living longer, there's a reduction in isolation, a reduction in hospital stays, a decrease in falls, decrease in senior depression, and as well as an increase in feeling of safety. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. And that is it. And if anyone has any questions on who to contact, this is our main number here, as well as our website. So feel free to reach out if you are interested in volunteering for us or wanting to get to know the population better. Okay. Thank you.
Michelle, we do have a question, and actually that was one of my questions too.
Yeah.
How do you qualify for the service?
So you can qualify in various ways. Many of our clients will, they can go through the government route and call the Elderly Affairs Division office, and Elderly Affairs will qualify them. They'll go through an intake with Elderly Affairs to see if and that means that their meals will be government subsidized. There are other clients who go through their insurance, so Medicaid clients. They will have a caseworker who is attached with them, and they will work with their caseworker for that to get qualified for services. And then we have a number of clients too who are unable to qualify through both routes, and they come in as private pay at a very discounted level. Many of their meals will be about $5 a meal, and then we will subsidize, because normally our meal service runs about $8, especially if their meal is needing a lot of specialized textures and so forth. It might run about $8 a meal, and we'll subsidize that. So those are, Medicaid, government funded. There's also another organization we work with called Alulike, and they work with a lot of Native Hawaiians. So they will subsidize meals. You will go through a qualifying intake with that organization as well. But it can get very confusing, and a lot of people don't realize that. So I would say call our office first, because our staff can walk a client through that process. Okay.
I did have a question. You're talking about, so you guys make different meals, like if one person needed it chopped more, one person needed it pureed, you guys do those specialty meals for those individuals? Right.
And the reason being is that we work with 12 partnering kitchens out there. So, and this helps with our volunteer service as well. So for many of our clients, like for instance, if you live in IAEA, one of the kitchens there out there would be HMoW. So our volunteers who are from IAEA and they want to volunteer in IAEA, they would pick up from HMoW. And we have a contract with HMoW for those different type of meals. And it's because our kitchens are medically certified. A lot of them are nursing homes or hospitals that we're able to provide that varied medical diet. So HMoW is one of our kitchens, Straub, Queens West, a number of nursing homes like Maluhia, Lunalilo out on Hawaii Kai. They all assist us with the varied nutritional components that our clients need.
And is this something that they would get, like you guys drop off meals only once a week and they have the meals for the whole week, or is it a daily drop off?
Right. So that varies as well too. Some of our clients need a hot meal every day because they are unable to warm up their meal. And so, you know, a number of our clients also live alone. So, you know, they would need a hot meal every single day. That would require a Monday through Friday drop off. Other of our clients who have that ability, but, you know, don't necessarily want a volunteer coming every single day, they will ask for a frozen meal. So in that case, and it can vary. Some will have, you know, a 5-day frozen meal order or a 7-day frozen meal order, you know, or we've had it where it's been a 10-day frozen meal order because they wanted drop off only every other week. So we want to make sure that our system fits with that kapuna as well. Many of our clients have doctor's appointments on a Wednesday, whether it's dialysis. So that might create a different varied delivery schedule.
Wow. And all of these are done by volunteers?
Yes, majority volunteers. And then we have, 10 staff who are out in the field every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another question came through. What safety precautions are you taking during the COVID pandemic? Yeah, I know it must be hard, you know, with all this going on.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And this is actually an older picture. So we're not, this is this is pre-pandemic right here. But yes, that is a great question. All of our volunteers, one, are required to be vaccinated because we're in the homes. Two, they're required to wear a mask. And three, they're required to social distance. So in this respect, this is no longer this type of where it's hand-to-hand delivery in that respect is not the case anymore, which is unfortunate because so many of the kapuna want to come out. They want to come out and chat and talk story because a lot of times their volunteer is the only person they see all day long. And so now in this instance, we require that the meal be put in a bag and be hung on the door. Or if it's put in a box, they will leave it in the box. They're required to step back and announce themselves and have the client to ensure that the client is picking up the meal. So in that respect, you know, we do as much as possible to create safety, not just for the clients, but for the volunteers. We've had a number of cases where the compliance that we serve, and also because they have dementia, to forget to tell us that they're COVID positive. And they're coming out to pick up the meal, wanting to get it from the hand of the volunteer. And then we are sort of backtracking once we're finding out from, you know, a relative of theirs that they've been COVID positive, you know, so it's been very sticky on both sides, trying to make sure that our staff are, you know, we do all of our precautions with a daily wellness check app that all of our staff is required to sign into, asking all the various COVID questions, and then making sure that all of the bags and sanitizers are replenished with every car, and everything is wiped down with hand sanitizer. So we're doing our best and trying our best to make sure that both sides, staff, volunteers, and clients, are all kept safe.
Yeah, it's probably been tough. Just for those that signed on a little later, we are in question and answers right now. So if you have any questions or you missed part of the presentation and want to have Michelle elaborate on something, please add it into the question and answers or the chat feature. Michelle is taking her time to answer these questions for us. So we have another question. How do you volunteer?
Oh, okay. Yes, feel free to call our main number. Let me go back to that. The 988-6747. And you can also email me at michelle@hmow.org. Feel free to email me and I can connect you with our volunteer staff, or you can call that number. So Michelle, MICHELLE @hmow.org. And you can also check out our website. Our website has all the volunteer forms uploaded. You can fill that all out online and submit it to our volunteer department, and they can set you up. They'll call you first, as they want to talk to you about where you want to deliver, what works for you, what time. Most of our deliveries do take place between the times of 9:30 and 1. And so it's primarily lunchtime that we're doing all of these deliveries. In the past, pre-COVID, we did have dinner routes, but we had to scale those back. And many of our dinner routes clients are getting frozen meals. So they're getting a lunch and possibly a dinner as well. Just because we wanted to make sure that we weren't in those houses doing a drop off twice in one day. Wanted to make sure that a lot of the contact was also kept to a minimum for everyone's safety. Okay.
I do know from my experience, as far as what I do, when we see our clients, you're right. Sometimes you guys are the only person that comes in contact with them. I mean, that's how we feel too when we go to clients' homes and we know that they're not talking to anyone, mostly because they're talking the whole time, and it's like, that they're missing that conversation. So I know, what your volunteers are awesome. And I mean, like you said, sometimes this is the only person that they're going to talk to. So it's really nice, what you guys are doing too.
Right. And Cynthia, with your services that you offer, you're in the homes of the clients, and it's their personal settings. So they're and if you're working with them, weeks at a time, you're getting to know them, getting to know their stuff, getting to know, where things get placed. And that's really important to them, And so what we find too is that so many of the clients, because they see someone continuously from your agency, they tend to open up to you about very personal things. I mean, we've had, which is why at Hawaii Meals on Wheels, we always say that it's more than a meal, because of the fact that, so many of these clients become attached to the volunteer. And then all of a sudden we're hearing about, various things like, if a client is in an issue of fraud or eviction, and they don't necessarily want to say anything to their family members, and they're coming to our volunteer letting us know. We've had a number of cases where, a client was just in a very sticky situation, and we've had to bring on two full-fledged social workers to assist with those resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the isolation is what's hard, but it's nice when you have volunteers, and I mean, sometimes it's interesting to hear the kupuna talk about their friend. Oh yeah, she brings us meals every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Oh, she's so lovely. She has 2 kids who are in college now, and like they know this whole story. They become more than just, the volunteer that brings the food, but a friend or, someone like that. A few more questions. I'd like to volunteer, but I don't have the time. How do I donate to your organization?
So yeah, you can go to www.hmow.org. You can click on the donate button, and that'll take you to our online donation page. We appreciate any support, and and just to also let everyone know too, is we deliver Monday through Friday. Whether it's a state or federal holiday, we still deliver. And so if you're working as well, and we do this with a lot of students too, we're always, interested in getting holiday volunteers. If it's Labor Day and you want to do it once a year, every Labor Day, let us know and we can put you down. So that way, that's how a lot of our working partners are able to volunteer with us, is that they choose a state holiday, that Kamehameha Day, and come out and assist us. And usually the routing and delivery takes, is only within the morning, so that way it's not too cumbersome on your holiday schedule.
Where do you deliver meals? Do you serve the neighbor islands as well?
So we do not serve. Hawaii Meals on Wheels does not serve. We only serve on Oahu, and we serve from Waimanalo all the way down to Makakilo, and as far north as Wahiwa, and then of course all of town. The neighbor islands, and please call us if you know of someone on a neighbor island. Each neighbor island has their own Meals on Wheels service, and most of the neighbor islands, that Meals on Wheels service goes through the actual county. So it is a county program, as opposed to Oahu, where private organizations assisting with the Meals on Wheels service. And that's based on the fact that our large number of kupuna here, the city and county has had to outsource that to nonprofits.
Any other questions? This has been really eye-opening. I mean, during the pandemic, I know a lot of people did stay home, didn't want to, go out and purchase food. And it's great that it's a healthy meal versus, calling, I don't know, I don't know, all these new delivery places, oh, go get me McDonald's, or, so it's nice to have a nice healthy meal for our kupuna. And like I said, also that interaction piece is really important.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and that is of course the most can be the most important for our kupuna.
Mm-hmm. If there is no other questions, I want to thank you, Michelle, for being with us today, from Hawaii Meals on Wheels, talking to us about your program. If there are any volunteers or anybody that's interested, or if you don't have the time but want to make a donation, please contact Hawaii Meals on Wheels. They're doing a great job for so many kupuna on the island that just wouldn't have any meals if they weren't around. So thank you so much for everything that you do, Michelle.
Well, thank you. Thank you to Generations Magazine. You guys always get the word out, and we're so grateful to have all of the supporters and the participants today to check out who we are and what we do. So thank you.
Thank you. So if anybody wants to share this video, it will be up probably in the next couple of days on generations808.com. You can share the video or share the website with your friends and family. Please, yes, get the word out to support Hawaii Meals on Wheels. I would say probably, especially during the holiday season, there are probably a lot of kupuna out there that don't get a nice hot fresh meal. So it's great to have an organization like them around. So thank you, Michelle, for that. A few other housekeeping. I just want to announce that next month on December 15th, the third Wednesday, we're going to be having Debbie Kim Morikawa from gym guys talking about functional fitness. It's probably great. You know, it's December and it's the end of the year. What is our number one resolution for the next year is to lose weight and to work out, right? So it'll be great to have Debbie, that we can all get started on that resolution for 2022. Again, thank you for being with us. The Generations Magazine Brown Bag Lunch webinars are sponsored by Financial Benefits Insurance as well as Declutter Hawaii. We do these webinars every third Wednesday of the month. I am already scheduling what we will be having in 2022. If you know any organization that is a partner of Generations Magazine, we'd love to have them on our next webinar series. Tune in to a radio station Sunday from 8 to 9 o'clock on 101.1 Coral, Hawaii's Classic Rock FM for our weekly podcasts. Again, generations808.com is our website if you want to see any past webinars or any past podcasts. I am Cynthia Arnold with Senior Move Managers and Declutter Hawaii. I want to thank you for everybody who has been here. If you'd like to be put on our Generations Magazine webinar email list, please contact me and I will be more than happy to add you to our web list. If there's no other questions, please have a great day, have a nice lunch, and happy Thanksgiving next week. Mahalo. Thanks, Michelle.